A massive injury boost, or what could be a massive boost for Erik ten Hag in the return of 3 key first-team players to the Manchester United squad. We're going to give you updates on each one of these players, Rasmus, Hojlund, Lenny, Yoro and Luke Shaw, where they are in terms of their recovery and when we can expect them back. And obviously, is this a boost for ten Hag? Now, a much-needed boost with these players coming back, or is it? I'll give you more details on that. Stay tuned, explaining all in this live show this evening. Welcome along, everybody. This is Forever United TV. In other news as well, Andy Boyle, Deputy Director, has been let go by Manchester United, who played a big part this summer as well. Christian Eriksen's agent is still expecting more bids to come in January. And Manchester United still haven't got the deal over the line for 3 key young players that they have purchased this summer already. We're still waiting for permission for these players to sign. What is going on there? Loads to talk about in this evening's show, everyone. Make sure you get involved in the live chat. Please do give the video a like. Let's get up as close to 1,000 as we can in the like column as well. And obviously, make sure that you have subscribed to make sure that you miss no news going around Manchester United. All of your updates are covered right here every single day. Let's get into what's gone on this afternoon then. We spoke earlier on about the possibility of Thomas Tuchel and obviously the pressure on Erik ten Hag. A little bit of an update on that as well in terms of what's been written and what's been said, where the actual board of Manchester United are at with Erik ten Hag. We'll give you an update on that. But first of all, we want to talk about the injury situation at United and how it is not going to be able to be used as an excuse for much longer. Now, I say excuse because it was used as a big excuse last season, and I just feel now, with everyone coming back, the chips are down. It is time to start seeing what this team or what this squad is actually made of. I've got a poll up right now. We've got 3 players coming back. Rasmus, Hojlund, Lenny, Yoro, and obviously Luke Shaw as well. We'll give you the order of when we're expecting them back in a minute. But who is more important? Who do you think out of them 3 ten Hag needs back in this squad? Get comment in the chat. Obviously, get the poll votes in as well, everybody. Shaw, Yoro, or Hojlund. We have had over 200 votes already from just the start of the show, so you guys are keen on this one. Keep voting on the poll, everyone. Let me know what you think. Let me know who is more important for coming back and what ten Hag needs right now. And we'll get into that. It's exactly how I expected it to be, actually. So far, we won't uncover anything. Some people might be watching this show back later on and want to know the result. We'll give it you we'll come back to it in about 10 minutes time and see where that poll is actually at. But tell everyone in the chat as well, where are we up to then injury wise? Right, okay, Luke Shaw is going to be available for the game against his former team Southampton when we come back from international duty. Harley bleeding Louis. Luke Shaw in a United shirt. There is a rarity. And we can actually, do you know what? We can actually expect Luke Shaw to be available. According to all sources, like Shaw is training. He's going to be okay. I'll believe it when I see it. I will, because Luke Shaw is he's not personally a pain in the ass. He's a good player. But his situation is a royal pain in the ass with injuries. And he has just let us down in terms of availability constantly. Everyone knows Luke Shaw's situation. Everyone knows where we're at with Luke Shaw, and no one's really sort of getting up out the seat at the news that Luke Shaw is going to be available. Look, you could actually have 4 key players to come back and change to Erik ten Hag's outlook on this team in terms of how we can actually play and what he can do in terms of the systems he wants to play. Because you could obviously add Agate. So effectively, United will have definitely Agate and Luke Shaw both available for the Southampton game. Now, obviously, ten Hag has already said and hinted towards Agate not coming back for a few more months yet. And he's got to get used to the system. He's got to get his fitness back. Yes, he hasn't played any games with PSG. There was obviously an issue there with Enrique and he didn't play. But he's going away with Uruguay. Hopefully, he gets game time for Uruguay over this international break and Agate can come back. Luke Shaw, just stay where you are. Wrap him up in cotton wool. Bubble wrap, whatever you want to. Just make sure he's available for the bleeding game. But I posed a question on Twitter earlier on. So if Luke Shaw is available, and we're talking like Luke Shaw is back, and everyone's like, whoa, yes, no excuse for ten Hag anymore. Well, whoa, 1 minute. If Luke Shaw comes back, who comes out? Because that's the question I posed earlier on. Ten Hag loves Diogo Dalot, and he has never let him down. We've obviously got Mazraoui, who hasn't really put a foot wrong since he's been in. So I'm going to ask you guys in the chat as well right now, who comes out for Luke Shaw? Does Luke Shaw, in fact, start the game if he's available anymore? And is Luke Shaw somewhere else on the pecking order right now? So when he's fit, Obviously, we know that Luke Shaw is a letdown when it comes to injuries. Not his fault. That's just unlucky in the way that football works. But in terms of Ten Hag, where does he rate Luke Shaw right now? Does Luke Shaw come straight back into the side when he's fit? You tell me. Does one of Mazraoui or Diogo Dalot come away? And everyone's saying they're both right backs, Adam. Why are you talking either one? Well, you know what I mean, don't you? Because Dalot could easily move back across to right back and Mazraoui be on the bench and Luke Shaw at left back. Or does Mazraoui keep his spot and Dalot come straight back out? Because, yeah, you can easily say it's Dalot who comes out because he's playing at left back, but Dalot has been the stonewall. He has been the ever-present and Mr. Reliable for Erik Ten Hag. So does he come and replace Mazraoui? Will that upset the fan base? Or should we just say to Luke Shaw, well done, you're back fit again. Park your ass on the bench. You need to work your way back into this side. That's a bit of a conundrum. And you know what? An actual selection headache for Ten Hag when it comes to fullbacks. Who'd have thought that 3 months ago? An actual headache in terms of who he's going to select at left back and right back. Wow. Options in the defence. That would be something. It would. If you're asking me right now, I am not bringing Luke Shaw back into this side. I'm definitely not. I don't think he deserves to be back in the side, personally. I think he will if he fights for his place, takes his chances off the bench, comes on as a substitute, plays well and works his way into the side. Welcome back, Luke. But don't expect, just because you're Luke Shaw, to actually come back in, because we've been waiting for you for so long and a big deal's been made out of you being missing out of the side. Not a chance in hell for me. Luke Shaw can work his way back in off the bench, make some appearances, find his feet, and there we go. So, yes, I feel like it will be the same as for Southampton. I don't think that Ten Hag is going to change it. I really don't. So, let's look at it that way and let's go, hopefully, Ten Hag stands by his guns and says, no, these players haven't really let me down this season. Yes, they've been part of a defence that's leaked quite a few goals, but individually, they haven't really made many individual errors or mistakes, either Dalot or Mazraoui. A couple of little things here and there, but nothing compared to some of the other centre-backs, obviously, and other players in Manchester United side. So, yes, I actually like the fact that we've got options, but I would keep Luke Shaw there. But it is a massive boost for Erik Ten Hag just to have Luke Shaw back and a more senior player. And I understand the seniority thing creeps in because you need an experienced man when your back's against the wall. You need players you can trust. You need an experienced man who's used to dealing with this sort of thing. And well, you say what you want about Luke Shaw, about his injuries and everything like that, but Luke Shaw is a player. And he is actually a very experienced player that we could do with right now and can help us out. So, really, I think Luke Shaw is going to be key for Ten Hag this season if we can keep him fit. But luckily for us now, we have got other options there and we can sort of bring him back steadily and properly instead of rushing a player back like we have done before. So that all works out well as well. So it is positive. We are talking positive right now about United. I still can't believe I'm talking positive about a bleeding fullback and having fullback options. It's just craziness right now. But yes, that is the situation we're actually dealing with right now. I'm going to get into the others, but I want to get your thoughts on Luke. Need to get like 20-30 minutes off the bench, says Scott Gacko. Got Boxing Straight Talk says, Adam, anyone in that team can come out. Nobody is on fire. Mazraoui was at fault for Liverpool's first goal. He was up front practically with 2 Liverpool players at the back post. You could say that. I still think he's been our best defender so far this season and will feel hard done to if he comes out. Shaw, when fit, is a difference, but he won't last 3 or 4 games, Adam, let's be honest. That is the concern. How long is he going to last? If he comes back in, do you start planning a team around him again and he goes out and we have to change it all over again? Ten Hag just needs players that he can rely on, that he can build a team around and build a system around. If you've got the same player week in, week out, it's great. Obviously, it doesn't work like that in football. Everyone gets injuries. But if you've got that player, you know exactly what his attributes are, what he does, how he works, and the players that work best alongside him, you can start to build that system and build that camaraderie, understanding around the pitch. And that's what Ten Hag needs to find. Like, does that mean that he brings Luke Shaw straight back in? That's the question. Director of Football says maybe United can start the conversation with Southampton for an eventual transfer end of season. Hopefully, he performed well in that game for his future employees. So you just don't want him there then now. Ivor says that these moves are making less and less sense. No goals anywhere. A bad goalkeeping, Swiss cheese defence, Ten Hag plus INEOS equals disaster. Oh, that's harsh. You throwing INEOS under the bus like that. Wanda says, the fact that Shaw is a key player is shocking. I can see where you're going with that. I can. The fact that he has been out for so long and missed more games than Martial. Yeah, and we're relying on this player to come back. Yeah, we should be playing away from Luke Shaw, which is why I don't want him to come straight back into the side. Yeah, you could say he brings a little bit more experience like I just described then, but still, I think Dalot is holding his own there. There's no real issue. He had a mistake here and there, but let's be honest. Luke Shaw wasn't really firing last season when he was playing. Let's not forget, in them first 20-odd games of the season when Shaw was quite an ever-present, United was still shit. So, really, is Luke Shaw making a massive difference when he comes back? It's debatable. It really is. And whereabouts is he? Is it a game you want to be bringing him back to? I think you ease him in off the bench, give him a bit of game time here and there, and then we move on from there. I think so anyway. People in the chat there saying like Mazraoui over Dalot. So the poll is, we're in 10 minutes now. I'll give you the votes. Keep voting on the poll, everybody. Please keep liking the video as well. Well over 1,000 in the room. Thank you for joining us on this evening show, everybody. Just creeping up to 200 likes. Surely we can get more than that. We've got over 1,000 in the room. Keep the votes coming in. Which player is more important that's due back from injury? Shaw, Yoro, or Hojlund? Hojlund is leading the way on 53%. I would go with that. We need something different up front. We need an actual number 9. A proper number 9, and I think that will be important for Ten Hag to have some options going forward. Enjoyed your podcast with the lads. Very insightful, mate. Thank you for that, Andy. Appreciate that, buddy. Boxing Straight Talk says, like Shaw is better than Dalot at left back, in my opinion. Dalot is better than Mazraoui, in my opinion, but Shaw should be eased into game fitness. Again, multiple different opinions on this. It's really interesting to see where everyone's at with Shaw and what they think of him and who is better out of Mazraoui and Diogo Dalot. Really interesting, in fact. Experience counts for nothing in the treatment room, says Alan. Pretty much sums it right up there, doesn't it? But still, like, if he is fit, he has got the experience and he can give us more. On to Lenny Yoro. Obviously, Lenny Yoro, we know we weren't expecting Lenny Yoro back from injury until January. I now think, with everything that's been said and what's going around, that Lenny Yoro is going to be back a little bit sooner, which will be a brilliant boost, a mega boost for Erik ten Hag. Or will it? Because who is he going to play? Who is he going to replace? When Lenny Yoro comes back, he is literally putting 2 men on the bench in De Ligt and in Harry Maguire. Because, like, we know we're trying to ease players in, and we've been changing and substituting centre-backs recently, and I understand that at the start of the season. When the games start coming thick and fast, and everyone's got all of the games under the belt, and you're picking your out-and-out number 4, number 5, number 6, whatever, your 2 centre-back partnerships, then you want that partnership to be consistent, and they stay in place. Lenny Yoro, when he comes in, I don't think he's going to be moved. I do believe that the back 2 are going to be Yoro and Martinez. So De Ligt is going to be on the bench. Is De Ligt then ahead of Harry Maguire? And what does Harry Maguire do? And what does he think? Does he start to ruin the decision not to leave Manchester United in the summer? All of these questions come up. So selection headaches for Ten Hag. But we know what Ten Hag's like. He usually tries to find spots in the team for people. Is it going to force him again to start making silly decisions and trying to play players he shouldn't be playing? Make substitutions he shouldn't, just so players are getting game time. This is what I think has been happening. I understand people trying to get fit and giving them here and there a bit of game time, but you should never have to break up that centre-back partnership, especially not in big games. You definitely don't do that. If it's safe and everything is okay, yes, go for it, but not in the middle of a game when it's on a knife edge anyway. Super chat in from Anthony Ong says, but international break is almost certain someone will come back injured. Good things don't last for us. Oh, don't say that, mate. You're cursing us now, mate. Thanks for the super chat, buddy. But we can't be doing with any more injuries on international break. For God's sake, please, no. I agree with Shaw not coming straight back, but hope Rasmus gets some time next game. Look, Rasmus Hojlund, in terms of his injuries, we talked about Yoro, obviously Shaw as well. Rasmus Hojlund, where he is at, is right now he's back in the gym. So I don't think he's out properly on grass yet, and I don't think he will be ready for the game against Southampton. But maybe we'll see Rasmus Hojlund getting a lot closer to that starting lineup than first thought in terms of time-wise. Like, it was supposedly going to be 6 weeks. It now looks like it's going to be less time for Rasmus. He is, according to the headlines, chomping at the bit and doing everything possible to get this process speeded up. The good thing we've got with a couple of our injuries, like Yoro, like, you'd worry, wouldn't you, with any other player? But an 18-year-old recovering from a broken bone or a fracture, it heals a lot quicker. We got good recovery times at least. And obviously, Rasmus Hojlund, 21, he is going to recover very quickly as well. So, thankfully, unfortunately not for Luke Shaw, but thankfully them two are catching up double time right now and are well ahead of schedule according to the reports, which is huge for Ten Hag, because them coming back in this next group of games, well, Yoro won't be in the next group of games. Rasmus Hojlund definitely in the next group of games after this international break will be back in the United fold. So let's see exactly what we can get out of Rasmus Hojlund in this new system or this new setup that Ten Hag is trying to implement. So yes, let's just see where we're at from there. You guys will see a link in the chat to United Couple. Episode 18 is out tonight at 8 o'clock. Do give that a watch. I'll give you guys a little bit more details on that before the show finishes tonight here on FUTV. But yeah, so let me know about Rasmus Hojlund in the chat, guys, as well. Are you looking forward to coming back? And when Rasmus Hojlund is back, after everything you've seen, everyone's got the game time needed. Everyone's played and had starts now. All of the front four, you could say, Xerxes, Rashford, Ahmad and Garnacho have all started games now. Rasmus Hojlund comes back. What is that front four? What four are you going with in that? And by that, I mean Bruno as well. Because you can drop Bruno if you want. Ten Hag won't. But what would you do? I want to know what you guys are thinking in terms of that front line for United. Who is going to be there? It'll be interesting to see what you guys pick on that one as well. I get the impression HAG didn't want Agate. That's why he's in no rush to bring him in. He would be ridiculously stupid to do that, to be honest. But I won't put anything past him. Rashford, 350 grand. Crap. Seller, 350 grand. Both poster boys. That's the difference. Well, Rashford isn't on that now after his pay cut, after not making the Champions League. So, yep, that's the good bit about that. Garnacho, Hojlund, Ahmad and Bruno would be Shane's front four. Bruno, Ahmad, Garnacho, Hojlund. Again, Rashford and Xerxes both sitting it out. I think he'll play short because he gets the best out of Rashford. Oh, don't even say that. God, that was like bringing Mazraoui in to get the best out of bleeding Anthony. Look, I know there's an understanding from before with Shaw and Rashford, but you don't keep playing Rashford. You don't go back to just saying that Rashford has to play because Shaw is back either. You cannot do that as a manager, surely. That would just be absolute craziness. Yeah, but I know what you're saying. Like, you literally can see that happening with Ten Hag. And he's got these headaches now, which is good. It's good to see what Ten Hag does with these selection headaches as well. How he balances it out, how he gets the game time for everybody. Look, we've got a lot of games coming up. It's obviously been announced that United will play Barnsley on, I think it was the 17th of September. That news came out earlier on as well with the Carabao Cup. So playing on a Tuesday night, which will be nice. We have a gifted membership, which has gone to Alex King. Thank you, Anthony, for that one. Babs says, do any of them understand the importance of goal difference? Yes, I know. It's horrible looking at the zeros and the minuses constantly on Manchester United's league table position, isn't it? It really does piss me off as well, Babs. Richie Club Sport says, personally, I drop Bruno. No leadership on the pitch. Runs around like a headless chicken, constantly loses the ball and gives it away. Rashford shouldn't need Shaw to play well, says Nomad Joe. And Lee Johnson says, talking to Boxing Straight Talk, why though? He's a striker. Like when people say try Aaron Wan-Bissaka at centre-back is clueless. That's probably people trying to squeeze people or shoehorn them into positions. Round pegs in square holes shouldn't be what Ten Hag is trying to find right now. Look, you've got a number 10, it's Bruno. You've got a number 9, that's Rasmus Hojlund. You've got a good left winger in Garnacho. You've got a good right winger in Ahmad. That should be the front four for me. Rashford and Xerxes need to know that they cannot just walk into the side. Xerxes because he's the latest thing, and Rashford because he thinks that he can do anything, and because he's been a United graduate through the academy and has been at the club longer than anyone else, he could just waltz into that team. Oh yeah, and probably because he's on the most money at the club as well. Cannot happen anymore. Ten Hag needs players in, and that's when Agate comes into the situation as well. Like, he should be playing him against Southampton, because right there, for me, you've got players who actually play in them positions. Like Ahmed on the right, Garnacho left, Bruno 10, obviously Rasmus Hojlund at 9. Then you've got, I would say, Kobbie Mainoo 8. Still, I would like to see, do you know what, this is crazy, I would like to see Kobbie Mainoo in at 10. If you're going to mix things up and try things out, it's unfortunate because I don't think we've got a real number 8. Like Bruno Fernandes for Sporting was a real number 8. But it's a different league and it's a different system. And the expectations and the quality of the Premier League is different for me to think Bruno can play in that number 8 role now. I did used to say that he should be playing there a lot, but I just don't think Ten Hag is going to punish him for his ill discipline in his positional play. I really don't. So I'd love to see Kobbie Mainoo playing his normal position at number 10, because that's where he played for the under-21s before he broke on the scene. And I think he's got goals in him. I think he's got creativity in him. And I think he's got calmness in that area. And I think he is good in the press in winning the ball back high as well, Kobbie Mainoo, because he has got that tackle and the reading of the game. So I would say desperation. Well, not desperation, but I'm just going off what I know that Ten Hag's going to do, really. It's going to be Bruno at 10, but Kobbie can move into there. Who do we bring in at 8, though? That's the problem. Like, does Eriksen fit in 8? He hasn't got the legs to run up and down. Change the system to make it work for what you've got, is what we're all looking at and what we're all saying to Ten Hag. You've got plenty of players coming back now. Look, Agate in at 6. He's a deep lying out of the two in midfield. Yes, I know it's going to be Mainoo at the moment, but like I said, Mainoo hasn't got speed. He hasn't. He's quick over 5 yards. But when you watch Mainoo run up and down that pitch, he isn't the fastest player. He hasn't got that blistering speed to get up and down. He hasn't got the power yet. He is strong, but when you watched him against Liverpool, it's like that power and pace of Liverpool's midfield frightened us to death, and that's where we struggled. So he's got players, I think, that are natural in positions right now. So this is probably an argument why he would bring Shaw in at left back again for this. But Martinez, then you've got Yoro coming back in as well, and you've got Mazraoui on the right. You've actually got players that love playing in their positions, and you've got all of that throughout the team. Straight away, that covers the basis, and it takes any sort of needless sort of niggle out of anything like, oh, wow, what we're watching today, is he going to be able to cope in this position? No, you know that these players are going to be all right because they play there naturally. There is one more position as well. You've got Bayendere, who's a good goalkeeper. He could come in and play in goalkeeper as well, and I guarantee that would make that defence look a lot more solid as well. I'm not kidding with that either. I would drop Andre Onana right now. I would take him out of the side and play Altay Bayendere in that team against Southampton when we come back. I'd still play Dello at left back, even though I've just been bigging up Luke Shaw playing in his natural position on the left. I would have De Ligt and Martinez at centre back, and I would have Mazraoui at right back. I guarantee you right now, if Bayendere is in goal, that defence automatically plays better. I think he's a better goalkeeper. I do. I'm looking at Onana here simply because I'm saying that Bayendere is a better goalkeeper simply because Onana is shocking. Absolutely shocking. Bayendere cannot be any worse. That's how I'm looking at it. It's absolute madness. He's an international goalkeeper who's never going to play football. Why the hell has he not left the football club this summer? I do not get Altay Bayendere's situation. We just signed another goalkeeper from Arsenal as well, another academy keeper. We have got an absolute army of goalkeepers, and I'd probably say we've got Tom Heaton. I'd rather have Tom Heaton in goal than Andre Onana. I think he's a better goalkeeper as well. Honestly, I do think that Tom Heaton is a better goalkeeper. Like, our number one goalkeeper should be fourth in the pecking order in the goalkeepers that we've got through the club right now and in the squad. That's how I feel about Andre Onana. He gives me no confidence. He doesn't save shots. He can play out from the back. That's why we brought him in. That's the biggest load of crap I've ever heard in my life. He is an absolute liability. Liability, that goalkeeper. I wanted to give him a chance. I wanted to change from David De Gea. I still think we should have changed David De Gea. We just chose the wrong goalkeeper. I thought he might have been the right one after watching him in the final and everything else that he was in terms of how he played out from the back, the confidence in playing sweeper keeper through his time in Inter Milan, and obviously Ajax as well. He knew Ten Hag, and I thought, right, surely right now, like, this has got to work. Like, we've got Ten Hag's goalkeeper, we've got Ten Hag's centre backs, we've got Ten Hag's full backs. Surely we've got to find the right system, but no. The biggest catastrophe and letdown, I think, in signings for Ten Hag, and you can bring Anthony into this, but I think that Onana is catching Anthony up as Ten Hag's worst signing. Clip that bad boy up. I don't care. I do believe that he was an absolute waste of money, Andre Onana. And I just think that Bayindir, do you know what? For this, it's not even that I dislike Onana at all. I've just seen things that I just cannot get my head around. And I'm just looking at Bayindir and I'm going, what are you doing, mate? He's not even going to play him against Barnsley. I guarantee it he plays Onana against Barnsley. What's the point? What is the point of Bayindir being there while Onana is at Manchester United? There is nothing that he can do to convince Ten Hag. Doesn't matter what he's like in training. He is an absolute waste of time, honestly. And it's a shame because I would like to see Bayindir given a chance in a run of games, but we know that these fringe players under Ten Hag are never going to work. They are squad players that are never going to be used. Antony, pointless. Absolutely pointless because he's not going to get 3 games in a row to find his feet. That's what a player needs. He needs to start 3 games to find his feet and find his form. Especially being out for this amount of time, Antony's not going to get it. It's like Eriksen right now. We'll move on to Eriksen actually because Eriksen's agent has come out and said that he is expecting more offers in January. I posed a question on Twitter again earlier on, like, what is Eriksen worth in January? Is he worth 5 million? Will United be able to get that for Christian Eriksen? He's another player that's never going to be able to find any form under Ten Hag because he's not going to play him consistently enough. People need to realise what Ten Hag is doing to some of these players. He is wasting them away. What we could actually have a good quality goalkeeper in Bayindir in our ranks. We could. But we're never going to see it. And that is the most frustrating thing with Ten Hag. He talks about bringing players in and not bringing players in straight away. He did it with Antony. Hardly any pre-season and he comes, plays games. Because he did, and a lot of people have said this. I haven't said this, but I've been reading this and a few people have said it now. Do you think he's going to give Agate the time to come back just because he doesn't want to use him because he wasn't his choice? He wanted Amrabat back in that side and he wanted to keep Scott McTominay. That was Ten Hag's preference. We know this. And I just feel, and a lot of people have said it, and I'm only saying it because a few people have started to talk, and it's sort of like going down that road. Like, he has got form for playing players that haven't had full sort of recovery time or game time, like bringing them straight in. He did it with Antony. So, honestly, I just don't, I don't know. Like, well, we'll see, won't we? If Agate plays for Uruguay, he should be ready for that starting lineup against Southampton a week on Saturday. He should be, I feel. I think the one thing that we've got against us with Agate as well is the South American players come back. I think it's like 12 hours later, so they're actually arriving on the Friday. He still wouldn't have had 2 full training sessions with United. And we're playing Southampton stupidly again. Thank you, Premier League. Away from home on the South Coast on a Saturday at 12:30. Thanks a lot. Oh yeah, by the way, the following weekend, 5:30, South London against Crystal Palace. Thanks a lot. Don't care for the travelling fans whatsoever, this Premier League. Honestly, it's absolute shambolic. That's what it is in terms of the fixture pile-ups and the fixture listings. It really is an absolute joke. Unbelievable it is. Unbelievable, Jeff. It is. But, yeah, that is my outlook for Ten Hag. I think he's going to find it harder because he's got no excuse. because he's got so many players to pick from. I don't think Ten Hag can keep a squad happy, is what I'm saying. And that is going to be another thing that comes back to bite him on the ass. Because when he needs these players, yes, they're going to have their own self-pride and they're going to come on and give it absolutely everything. But when Bayindir plays a game, he's going to have the game of his life. He'll do everything right. But in the back of his head, he knows that I'm going to be dropped for an hour now for when the chips are down and we're playing the big games coming up. He knows he's got no future. If Anthony comes on the pitch, scores a goal, gets an assist, he knows he's going to get dropped for one of Rashford, Garnacho or Ahmad. So where are these squad players' heads actually at? How does Ten Hag handle these situations? We already know that Anthony's got form for storming off at training and spitting his dummy out on the pitch. He thinks he's miles better than what he actually is. And that's been built up by Manchester United, making these players think there's something that they're actually not. So really, looking at this, I say Ten Hag's big issue now is actually having a full squad of players and having to try and balance the game time out between them. Alex Army with a super chat says, let's not forget that is in Ten Hag's new contract. INEOS now tell him who to play and where he has become a puppet. No, Ten Hag hasn't got that in his new contract. Ten Hag's on his original contract before INEOS came in. And that's how INEOS are getting out of this. This really isn't their manager still. I was going to say this last night on United View, but I didn't get a chance because there were so many people on and talking. But have INEOS really backed Ten Hag? Have United really backed Ten Hag with that contract? Because this is the Murto and Arnold contract. This is not an INEOS contract. So effectively, yes, they are all working for the same company as in United, but they haven't given him that contract. So really, it's not their deal. It's not their deal, and it's not their details within the terms and conditions of that deal. So really, you could say that this isn't the manager for INEOS right now in a way. But hey, we'll look at it in a few different ways. I'm going to read through some stuff as well regarding Ten Hag, actually, and what is actually happening right now. There was a report in the Daily Mail which said, the view is that INEOS haven't kept Ten Hag and built a new system around him just to wield the axe at the first sign of trouble. Yeah. No problem. We sort of knew that. Everyone can accept that. Equally, however, there is an acceptance that poor results will not be allowed to continue indefinitely. As in, fix this shit now, Eric, and get us playing better football on the pitch. It's as simple as that. There's no way out of it for Ten Hag. He needs to provide on the pitch, and INEOS will make a decision. Other interesting news regarding the backroom staff, I'm sure you guys have seen. The tweet is at the bottom of the screen as well. Manchester United Deputy Football Director Andy O'Boyle set to leave Old Trafford after 2 years in his post. Andy O'Boyle was heavily involved with recent transfer window, and he is highly regarded across the industry. He was seen second to helping John Murto in his operations as so-called sporting director at the time. And I think everyone who was related with Murto that time at Manchester United has just been sent packing, to be honest. It is full-on clean slates. And again, this is another reason why I think that Ten Hag needs to pull his finger out with INEOS. Because like I said, I think he's still going to last out the season. I don't want him to if results are going bad. But look, I think INEOS will give him chance. Like the statement says there from the Daily Mail, I think that is right. Like, they're not going to just throw Ten Hag out at the first sign of trouble. If the trouble continues, then they are big enough and they will make a decision. But still, I think that Ten Hag will, as long as he can get a cup and an important one in the Europa League, and it'll be interesting to see what happens because we've got a few games coming up in the Europa League, as well as the League Cup and the league games. Now, the league games don't seem to really count at all, but it'd be interesting to see if Ten Hag dives out of a cup early before December, i.e., we may get through Barnsley. I think we will. Oh, God, I bleeding hope so. Get through the Barnsley game, and then we end up dropping out the next round. There's one gone, and he has a bad start, like Porto and Fenerbahce away. That's not that easy away from home games. Like, I'd take both of them teams at home at Old Trafford. We beat both. And I still expect United to finish in the top 8 and automatically qualify for the round of 16 for the Europa League. But They're tough games. And if they go wrong for Ten Hag, then I think we will all be looking to see what INEOS think and what they want to do. That will be very, very interesting to see if that does push them over the edge. Well over 1,300 in the room. Thank you, everybody. Absolute legends. Please keep liking the video. Let's see if we can get up to 500 live likes. Just shy of 400 right now. That was the super chat from Alex. We have another one in from Alex again. Thank you, Alex. 2 in a row. Love that, mate. Didn't they give him a new deal with new demands from INEOS, such as no big name signings, etc.? Wasn't this the whole point of bringing in Joe Willock? You mean Jason Wilcox? No, Alex, they didn't. It was a simple, just triggered extra year in his current deal that he was already on before INEOS had arrived. And you heard what Ashworth and Barada said this morning. Oh my God, some people absolute idiots on Twitter regarding the stance from Barada and Ashworth. Like, well done for coming out and backing Ten Hag publicly. What are they going to do after 3 games? Slaughter him? They've been working with him all summer. Trust me, they're getting that interview out of the way now, early doors, so they don't have to do it again later on in the season when the chips are really down, when the big decisions will need to be made if Ten Hag is still underperforming. Get it out of the way now. Let's show our support. Make it seem that we've actually give Ten Hag some support. But when it all goes to shit later on in the season, we're going to be nowhere near. We've already done our media duties. We've already put our pledge to Erik Ten Hag, but he's blown it. We give him a chance. We look good, and he hasn't taken it. He's been given the world this summer, Ten Hag. He's been given everything that he wanted, and he's got a stronger squad than what he had last season, with less headaches going around as well. Not having to manage above him or below him, and he should be performing a lot better. Modern Samurai is in the chat. Thank you, my man. He has just gifted 5 new memberships, and they have gone to Billy Prout, Gary Burton, Michael Rule, Gareth 2673, and Sponge 10. Oh no, sorry, Droske. Gareth was saying, Adam, do you think INEOS are in contract with Tuchel covertly? Of course. Yeah, of course they are. I said it this morning. Like any normal football structure, or anyone who's running the football club properly, will have a contingency plan in place for when things go wrong, if they go wrong. There's no other football club on the planet wouldn't work that way. It's as simple as that. Let's see. As a former pro, have you seen the clip Man United put up around 2 weeks ago where players do explosive high weight leg bench presses look insane to me. Direct road to injuries. Have you seen it? I've not seen that actually, but I may go and have a look at that actually. I've not seen that at all. It'd be crazy doing too much weight training as a player, especially on legs. Honestly, I'm not surprised that players are pulling up in training if that is the case. You should not be going anywhere near heavy leg exercises, especially not weights as a footballer. You do enough already. Another super chat from Alex. Legend, mate. Thank you. To be honest, if they wanted Ten Hag, they wouldn't have gone looking for replacements. I think the sack is inevitable. Ruud will step in as caretaker. Look, Rudy's there just in case things go wrong. I don't think we're going to employ anyone new if Ten Hag goes this season. I think Ruud will just be the caretaker on the interim, whatever you want to call it, until the end of the season. If they do pull the plug on Ten Hag, I think that's what will happen. It's an inevitable just follow on into it. But yeah, interesting to see the backroom staff and the job cuts as well. INEOS really going to town with getting rid of people. And I think it's right. I do think it's right that they do that. But it's also important that they have now done this after the transfer window, after he's helped us out, knowing what structure is in place and what people do in certain roles within the transfer structure at the football club and everything like that. I think that is vitally important, and they're doing it at the right time. We've obviously seen a few more people leave. You probably would have seen the pictures floating around on X regarding other people in high-end sort of roles at Manchester United, cutting the corners of the big earners at the club, it would seem. So yes, very interesting to see where that is at right now. But Manchester United also, and the next bit of news I wanted to talk about was the fact that we still haven't got Obi Martin over the line. Now, people have been asking me about Chido Obi Martin, obviously the superstar striker from the Arsenal academy, and why he hasn't crossed the line yet. Still training on his own, and we're still waiting for clearance from the Premier League. But not just Obi Martin as well. Obviously, we've got Samuel Lascelles as well, another player that Manchester United have brought in, academy player, and James Overy, the Australian fullback who we bought right at the start of the window. Now that, again, that's a weird one. I just wanted to update you guys on the situation, because a lot of people do ask me in the chat, where's Obi Martin? Where is this superstar kid, who might actually make it on the bench this season? He's still not official, is the answer to the question. And it's all because apparently there was a report a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a week ago, about Arsenal being a little bit bitter and a little bit awkward in getting this deal done in the compensation factor. But it's just going through the process, and it's just dragging its heels out. And it's okay, you can accept that deals take a long time, but what the hell is going on with these? These should be straightforward deals for academy players coming through when joining United's youth ranks. It's not the case, though. And like I said, when I get more information, I'll bring it out and we'll discuss it. But as it is, that's the headline right now. They're not done yet, and they are still training on their own. Obviously, we've seen Kune come through, and that has been all finalised and done. By the way, Manchester United organised a sit-down dinner for Kune to start a friendship group at United to integrate him into the academy and meet some of the other players. So that's good. United doing all the right things behind the scenes. Definitely looking after young players is a massive thing for Manchester United. And Wilcox will be the main protagonist in all of this. He will be the one organising this, because he understands that Manchester United and their foundations are built off the young academy players. Hell, when he was in his pomp, Jason Wilcox, he was on the back end of the class of 92 when he was playing for Blackburn. So he knows all about it. He was the main man at Manchester City, as we already know, in their youth academy setup. He is built for bigger and better things, I think, Wilcox, than just the academy vibe. But just to have him involved there as well is massive news for Manchester United. And I think it is right that we do, that we look after Kune. And I think it's actually a proper setup there now. And I think when them players come through, I just pray that these players are actually coming through into a I'll not say well-oiled, I use that phrase a lot, and United are well away from that, but a decent first team, a cohesive, confident, welcoming first team. Not like Collier got, being thrown to the Wolves against Liverpool. Not like Manu has had to live through. Not like Garnacho has had to live through. Like the expectation levels for these younger players coming through. And for them to outperform some of the senior players in this squad last season, it's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. By the way, Graham, on that pronunciation, I'll set Kaz on you, because she's the one who said it, mate. So you're in trouble now. But let's get into some of your comments as well on all of this. Back to life, back to reality, back to Jose Mourinho. We will in a few weeks' time. Has Obi Martin actually signed, and we are just waiting to agree settlement with Arsenal? Yeah, he signed his deal. Obviously, contract is in place. We know what it is. Everything like that is done. We're just waiting for the confirmation and the finalisation from the Premier League. It's a weird one. It really is a weird one right now, where we're at with that situation. Kune looks awesome. Tap the appreciation button. Hit the like, people. Yes, we're creeping up to that 500 target, guys. Well done. We're about 50 away right now with everyone in the chat. Well over 1,300 still in the room with us. Please give the video a like, and let's get them likes skyrocketing up. It all helps the channel. It helps us grow. We're creeping up to 58,000 subscribers as well. Edging closer to that 60k mark, people. Please do make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button, so you're not going to miss any shows like this. We do 3 of them every single day, and we bring you the best match day coverage as well. We got loads planned for other match days as well. By the way, guys, if you are going to the Legends game this Saturday, we are there. Come and say hello. We are going to the Legends game. So if anyone is at that game, make sure you come and say hi. In the description as well, guys, we have a prize for you guys to get involved in. Buy your tickets for the draw for a dual-framed, signed Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo shirt, fully authenticated. As well as that, within the same draw, you could win tickets for every single Manchester United home Europa League game in hospitality at Old Trafford. The link is in the description, guys. Get onto that now. I'll get the visual up soon. I forgot to add the actual graphic to the screen for you guys again, but I'll make sure that it's there in the next few shows as well. Creeping up to that 500 mark. Well done, everyone. You're almost there. No cake for Ten Hag. Only a million lines. I must do better. That's from Christopher. Andy Paul says, who's playing in the Legends game? Any big names? I think Carrick's playing. I'm trying to remember actually who's in it. Nicky Bort, I think. Carrick, Nicky Bort. I can't remember if Fletcher's actually playing. So, yeah, a few decent ones in there. It'd be good to see Carrick play. And I've got press access for that game as well, guys. So hopefully we can bring you some footage where we could actually speak to some of the players as well. That would be fantastic for you guys here on FUTV to actually see that as well. So we'll try our best to get that set up and hooked up for you guys as well. So yeah, that's something that we've got planned and in the pipeline. At least use him as a PT consultant, Ralph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Raniek. I think we've got enough people behind the scenes right now who are doing the business. And this is, like I said, at the top of the show, with all of the injured players coming back, with everyone being available to him, with Omar Barada and Dan Ashworth both publicly backing him, as they would. Like I said, though, early doors, and that's their media duties for the season over now. You won't get any word out of them again, like sat down privately with the media like that. Get it out the way. Well, everything still looks okay, but when the chips are down and the shit's hitting the fan later on in the season, you won't see Ashworth, or Barada. They'll be just making the big calls behind the scene. And I think this is where Ten Hag comes under a little bit of pressure now, because everything is moving in the right direction for him off the pitch. There's no more excuses. And like we said, and Yoro comes back, Hojlund comes back, Agate's back in the side, Luke Shaw comes back. Like, whoa, you've got serious depth there right now. And like Ashworth said earlier on, we are really happy with the squad. Yes, they're happy. They worked bleeding wonders this transfer window to make that happen for Ten Hag. And it will be interesting. And I said it as well at the top. I said, the one thing that everybody's looking for is if it does go worse or stays as bad as it is, when will INEOS pull the plug? Will they pull the plug? That's the question. Because beforehand, we've had the numpties running the show in Murto and Arnold. But now, we've actually got a real football setup running the show. And they need success on the pitch. They need Champions League football. Bruno Fernandes has come out and said that it's a minimum top 4. Minimum top 4 this season. Oh, we're a million miles away from it. He's right. He's dead right. I said that as well. And that's the question, really. It's like, what stage, if it's not getting any better, do you say, we need to salvage the season now? We can't let it get to a point where anyone coming in or Ruud taking over is actually going to be given no chance at all. Like, if it gets to a point where we're in December or we're in November after the last international break and we're still miles away from the top 4 and there's a chance we could salvage the season, do INEOS pull that plug? That is the killer question right now. Nicholas, thank you for the super chat, my man. We saw the same thing with Jose Mourinho getting defensive in post-match interviews and walking out. Ten Hag will be walking out of interviews soon enough. Beginning of the end for him. Thanks for the super chat, Nicholas. Absolute legend, my man. But yeah, he is starting to get a little bit crazy with his comments. If he starts walking out like Van Gaal and Jose, you know the writing is on the wall. It always is that way. It always is that way. Just wanted to say a massive thank you to shout out to the contributors again. Nicholas, Alex, Modern Samurai, and Anthony ONG as well. Thank you so much, guys, for your contributions through the show. You have been the main super chatters and gifted membershipers, as they say. Right, the poll, as we've got, is over 1,700 votes. Which player coming back from injury is more important to Ten Hag? Luke Shaw, Lenny Yoro, or Rasmus Hojlund? Our most expensive signing of the summer, Lenny Yoro, is in last place at 12%. Luke Shaw is at 37%, but leading away clearly is Rasmus Hojlund with 50% of the vote, because you guys see United's problem, not scoring goals, as the big issue. I am with you. That's who I would pick as well as the big player to come back and who we need more than anybody. But we have just hit 500 likes. I'm going to close that poll down right now. Don't forget, guys, a link in the chat is for the United couple. It is out tonight, episode 18. Something different again. We did Out in the Sticks last time. This is something completely different again, guys. Go and watch it. Give it a watch. Give us your feedback. It is everything that goes on here behind the scenes, behind the camera, but on the camera, if that makes sense. United Couple Podcast, that's me and Kaz. If you want to see more of Kaz, she's over there on that one. Coming out at 8 o'clock tonight, everybody. Don't miss that one. You can catch up with all the other episodes as well. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. It really has. But that is the end of our show, guys. It's been an absolutely brilliant show. I've loved that. We've got through loads of information. You know what? Not having to do transfers and just talk transfers is really interesting because we can go into detail on a lot more other important stuff as well, like the academy players, like why players are not actually signing over the line at the youth level, like Obi Martin and things like that. Players coming back and injuries, actually setting this team up and talking about Ten Hag, not just in a negative way, but actually talking about what he can do with the squad that's coming back and how much pressure that puts on him because there's no excuses anymore. Drop your comments in below on the video after it has dropped out of the live. I've not got everyone's live comments. It's difficult when we've got so many people in. Thank you. We had well over 1,300, 1,400 in fact through that show there today, guys. Really appreciate that. And you can imagine it's difficult to get everyone's comments in. So drop your comments in on the show after the live is finished, everyone. We'll try and get back to as many of them as we can. Again, thank you all the Super Chatters. Welcome new members. Welcome new subscribers. This is Forever United TV. If you haven't pressed that subscribe button, make sure you do. Hit the bell notification. And you will be notified of all of the free content coming your way here on Forever United TV. Another big weekend planned, but we've got plenty of juicy stuff to get through before then. We're back at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning with your early morning update show. And then normal service is resumed. Scan the QR code for one of our new partners as well, Squad. They are grip socks. So any coaches out there, any players, anyone wants to get any discount or hook up to our new partners, scan the QR code on the screen as well, guys. Thank you. Drop into the description to win the Bruno and the Mainu signed T-shirts as well. Football prizes link is right at the top of the description, guys. And that's us all done. I'll see you in the morning, everyone.